Let's get really honest for a second. You say you want a kind, emotionally available man who shows up consistently, makes those plans with you, and just loves you for who you are. But when someone like that appears in your life, you feel nothing. No chemistry, no spark, no sense of connection. Meanwhile, the man who replies every few days is really inconsistent, keeps you on your toes, sends mixed signals and just keeps you second guessing, you feel everything for. Your stomach flips, your mind races, your heart just speeds up thinking about them. He feels magnetic, right? And you tell yourself, I don't know, I just feel more chemistry with this guy. But here's the truth. You're not attracted to him. You're addicted to the relief that you feel when he temporarily stops your anxiety. And by the way, if you're tired of that surface level dating stuff and you're ready for psychology-backed breakdowns that actually explain those patterns you're keeping yourself stuck in, hit subscribe now. This channel is going to completely change the way that you understand love. But anyway, let's get into it. Secure, emotionally available men can often feel quite boring to you sometimes. And I get it. There's an element of attraction that needs to be there. We're going beyond this idea of attraction. We're really diving into when you actually connect with someone who gives you everything that you want, but you just don't quite feel that same feeling with them. They often feel quite boring to you, and it's not because they are boring in any means, but it's because your nervous system doesn't register calm with safe. The only way it's going to think something is love is if it's represented by anxiety in your body, because your brain's associated love with chaos. When someone's really consistent and they're showing up great for you, your body doesn't get that spike of adrenaline that it's used to. There's no chase, there's no drop and relief cycle that you're finding yourself in. There's no inconsistency or guesswork. So your brain literally labels it as no chemistry because there's no danger. But like I said, your body has been trained to associate love with chaos or anxiety. Basically, love is dangerous. And if this doesn't feel dangerous to me, there can't be a connection there. So when a man is showing up and not actually triggering your anxiety, your body doesn't really know what to do with the feeling. And it can sometimes just call it boring, because your body finally feeling peace can feel boring. And here's the psychology behind it. Human beings don't tend to bond with what's good for them. They bond to what feels familiar. If your early experiences wired you to believe that attention comes with anxiety, that love had to be earned, that you had to keep someone interested in order for you to feel safe and secure in a connection, then that sense of stability isn't going to feel like a whole budding romance to you to start with. And your brain can sometimes reject it because it doesn't connect with that definition of chemistry to you or connection. And this is where so many of those incredibly smart, self-aware women that I work with tend to fall into a stumbling block. You'll say things like, I know he's a really good man and I know he can give me everything that I want in a connection, but it just doesn't feel like there's a spark. And that missing feeling isn't passion sometimes. Like I said, we have to have an element of attraction to someone, which is a story for another time. But we're talking about a guy who shows up incredibly, gives you everything that you want in a connection, but still you feel that something's missing. That thing that's missing is an absence of nervous system chaos. If you've learned to live in a state of emotional hypervigilance, constantly scanning for shifts, changes in tone, shifts in behavior, signs that he even might be pulling away, then that peace can just feel quite flat. Really calm, peaceful love doesn't chase, doesn't spike, and it definitely doesn't activate your survival system. And if your identity has been built on chasing these emotional highs, calm is just going to feel like a bit of a void. So let me just drop something really direct here. This has nothing to do with secure men being boring by any means. It's that your self-concept hasn't caught up with your desires in love. You want healthy love, but you still identify with the version of you who thinks love is something that you have to chase, that you have to earn, that you have to fight for all the time. The identity of, I'm someone who has to prove myself, who has to earn love, who has to show up a certain way in order to be accepted by somebody, to receive their love. And this is what actually makes chaos feel quite exciting sometimes as well, because we have that emotional adrenaline that we're running on. It's not romantic at all. It's just a trigger loop that you've got yourself stuck in. And this is actually the moment that everything can change for you as well. When a calm, healthy man shows up and your first instinct is to say, oh, I'm not quite feeling it, you have two choices. You can label that consistency and that secure man as boring and go about your day going back to the emotional roller coaster that you're used to with an ex maybe, that gave you nothing but grief, but kept you on that emotional adrenaline high. Or you can pause for a second and say, maybe this isn't lack of connection. Could this be what safety feels like? Could this be what I'm actually craving in love instead? But I've just never experienced love without anxiety. If your nervous system has never experienced love that doesn't include chaos and drama, the connection probably isn't going to feel satisfying at first. But that's where the work happens. Not in finding the perfect person, but retraining your body to perceive love as peace rather than chaos. If there's a part of you feeling called out right now, but in a good way, maybe you're the kind of person who keeps going back to that particular ex who isn't choosing you, who isn't showing up for you, but because you feel something with them. Or maybe you just feel that you're not really giving the right guys enough of a chance, and you want to get yourself out of your comfort zone in that way, just to see if there really is a connection there, a spark that can be ignited with somebody. And you're thinking, okay, this is literally me right now. Stay with me. This space has nothing to do with shaming your patterns in any way, because we've all been there. It's about giving you the understanding so you can lead yourself differently in love and relationships. And if you want more content like this, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. This is the place where we stop chasing that chaos and we start tapping into the love that we truly want and deserve by coming away from the patterns that we've been so used to falling into. And if you're truly ready to reframe these patterns and finally get yourself in alignment with the relationship you do want and deserve, there are a whole host of different ways that I can help you with this. From one-to-one coaching to on-demand courses, I've got you every step of the way. So just take a big deep breath, because peace is never going to feel boring once your nervous system becomes used to receiving it.